Everyone, I'm here today with Tom Dowd. Tom is the president and CEO at F45 Training, and he's going to tell us a bit what that's all about. But firstly, welcome, Tom.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. So yeah, firstly, if you could just tell everyone, give me a summary of F45 Training, what the company does, who it serves,
Sure.
etc.
Yeah, well, thank you. Listen, we're really happy to be here in the franchising space with one of the hottest concepts in the world, which is studio fitness training. We have F45 studios, which is just under 2,000 right now, and growing again. I've been the CEO for about a year and a half now. We also added three really modalities now, two Pilates concepts, Vora and FS8, which is amazing. FS8 is yoga, Pilates, and toning, and Vora is just high energy, lights, mirrors on the ceiling, energy, just an amazing high energy workout, and just two different businesses really for us, two different concepts that hit the same fitness concept, which is Pilates, reformer Pilates, and it's doing extremely well. And we just added recovery, ion recovery, which is going to be the cold plunge and the infrared saunas and percussion. So we're very excited about that, and really excited to add that to our offering for existing studio operators to now have another revenue stream by pulling people in for the cold plunge and the sauna and the recovery element that we offer as well, and also as a standalone. So that'll be a total of four different concepts that we've just added in the last, call it 6-8 months. So so listen, high intensity interval training started in Australia with F45. It's continuing to build momentum. It took off so fast, probably a little mismanaged at some point. It's hard to manage a rocket sometimes, but it's really a testament to how amazing the brand and the product is. And I stepped in after we took the company public, and just kind of got everything right sized and got everybody refocused and managing, this crazy growth vehicle that we have with F45, and just getting SOPs put in place, just getting the right team, getting the right energy put into the right areas of the business that make sense, which is profitability for the franchisees, our membership experience, make sure that we continue to tweak and move forward with the membership experience to make sure it's amazing. And we've done that. And it was easy to do, quite frankly, because we have a lot of talented people in the company who just needed, the guardrails and the direction and the right energy to go in and just crush it, which they've done. So I couldn't be more thrilled with the progress we've made over the last year and a half. And, it helps that we have an amazing product, like I said, and it helps that we're in a high growth category, which is amazing. So, and we have an amazing community, not only with our membership base. One of the reasons we first invested about 6 years ago, we just were blown away by the community and the energy in the community. And then now I've learned by visiting and being out in the world that our franchise community is just as amazing, if not more so, just dedicated individuals working hard every day to do well in life and help people live their best lives, which is a very good place to come from.
So yeah, so tell me about. I'm always interested in names. So F45, functional 45, as your T-shirt says. What's the 45? Explain the 45, right? Because I know the brand well, but
Yeah,
I'll ask that question.
it started with giving people the convenience of just getting in and getting out, getting the workout in and getting the heck out. So 45 minutes is the optimal time. It's a lot of the exercises, and the whole structure is scientifically based. We have a whole staff of folks that are trained and really maximizing the efficiency of the workout. So we just love that also from the beginning. You go into a big box gym and you stand around. You go in, you don't really know what to do. I had this with my daughter, went into a big box years ago, and she'd come home every day and just go, I jumped on this machine a little bit, no effect. Did you break a sweat? No. And nothing changes. But that's their model. I mean, the big box model is sign up and pray that you don't show up, because if everybody showed up that signs up, they could never survive, because it would be wall-to-wall people constantly. We want people to show up, and we want you to have an efficient, effective workout. So getting you in and getting you out in 45 minutes is magic, quite frankly, because like you've had a workout when you go in, and you can work out at your own pace. So we've really pushed a lot of energy into teaching people that this is for the everyday athlete. It's for somebody that's now on GLP-1, that's lost 30 pounds, that has some courage to come into a studio gym again, that needs real direction with our personal trainers that are there. People that guide you. We have a TV system in the studios that really helps you visualize and understand what you're supposed to be doing from a workout. So part of my mission when I first came on was, how do we get more people to realize that this is for everybody? As a matter of fact, we are really geared towards the beginner, somebody that's never been in the studio or worked out or maybe in 10, 5, 15 years, whatever. And also this, serious athlete that's, really hardcore that wants to go. So the magic is, you can work at your own pace. You can watch the TVs. You have people standing over you, motivating you, guiding you, giving you direction. So it's just an amazing formula. And the 45 minutes is magic, because a lot of people do have busy lives, and convenience is key. So getting in and getting out, and having focus when you get there is really critical, and that's what I love about it. So that's again, I touched on the fact we've been investors, but when we did our due diligence, we just were like blown away by how magical, I guess, with everybody high-fiving after classes and during classes, and motivating each other and pushing each other amongst the membership, and taking photos afterwards in front of the sign. Like that's the things you see at Disney World and Apple, so I just love that iconic brand horsepower that they had. And as I told our investor group, like that, that's hard to replicate. And they had the magic and still have the magic, and we're building on the magic. So it's a great place to be.
So thanks, Tom. That's great. And what I wanted to also hear from you was, how did you personally kind of get involved in the fitness and nutrition industry in the first place? What's been your journey, if you like, to where you are now?
Well, I spent 25 years at General Nutrition Company, GNC. So I started out running division offices, working my way up through management, running divisions, senior vice president, EVP, general manager, CMO. So really under 1,000 locations when I started, over 8,000 when I left. Well, right around there, who knows where it ebbed and flowed by the time I got out. But yeah, I left to work with private equity, venture capital, work on investments. And I've been gone for about 13, 14 years now. But it was a great training ground for me, because the health and wellness space is something that's going to continue to grow and get hot. It's hard. You're hard pressed to find a category that's never going to go away. Everybody always wants to live longer, have better quality of life, be healthier, bigger guns, whatever. You have the bodybuilders, you have the everyday athletes, you have just the folks that just want to be healthier in totality, making smarter choices. When I grew up, the average person, in their 40s would never think about drinking a protein shake. Now everybody's drinking protein shakes, eating protein bars, watching their sugar. So it's a great training ground for me to step into F45, because it's so similar. We thought our membership base was very passionate, but the folks that are actually working out and dedicated to the level that they are, even if they're just starting, is still a much more engaged audience. So it's just fit in beautifully for me. And then I've been an investor in things like Slim Fast and Nutrisystem now. So we're still dabbling. We have a sports nutrition company called Performance Inspired Nutrition, which we're kind of working to partner with F45 and kind of mesh that whole nutrition hub and spoke model together, where we want to be everything health and wellness for our membership base. So we're going to be introducing GLP-1 offerings to our membership base, dietitian services, flex scheduling, so you can come in anytime during the day just to get your workout in if you missed it. We're not discouraging class workouts, but we're really going after the convenience as well. Like I said, the recovery element of it, which is red hot, the Pilates element, which creates a whole nother way for our current franchise system to expand within their markets without cannibalizing F45s, with, by the way, a trend that's blazing hot right now. And we're very laser focused on proper real estate management now, is to make sure that we manage, that rocket, and make sure that we're not, just chasing openings, that we're chasing profitability for our franchisees. And that's a mindset that I find easy, but some folks, when they're just starting to grow, just chase every shiny object in every location. And maybe we've been guilty of that in the past before I was here, but certainly now we have, the franchisee is our first priority when we look at real estate, and understanding how does this represent the market? Is this person the right person to expand with us? Quite frankly, we feel like it's a privilege to grow with us now. We're kind of taking this stance that, listen, not everybody's meant to be a business operator. Not, just because you may have the money or backing doesn't mean that you're committed to growing the business the right way. So I'm kind of taking this high-end approach that we need the right people, in the right markets with the right mentality and training to grow with us. Otherwise, we don't need it, because that's just prolonging problems down the road, which, everybody has seen in different models, including ours to some degree. But, I think Chick-fil-A has one of the best models for vetting their franchisees. Do we want to be Chick-fil-A? No, but we certainly want to have more structure around who we partner with. Yeah.
No, I understand it. Something I wanted to ask you, in the UK, everyone has the perception, anyone I work with in franchising, they have the perception that, every American knows exactly what franchising offers in terms of starting and owning, your own business, and that kids just grow up whose their parents own a franchise, and it's an aspiration, and so on. Is there a truth in that, or not? Or because in the UK, the general population really don't understand what franchising offers. They know McDonald's is a franchise, but they really don't understand how it can help them. And that's the big to growth, actually, for almost any brand in the UK. Is that true of the US as well, or do you have a different opinion on that, take on that?
I think you're right. I think most people really don't understand, I guess, business in totality. Certainly franchising is a nuance that, most people think it's, they just can walk in and HQ does everything for them. And there's certainly some franchisees that get into the business and think that, listen, we provide structure, we provide a proven playbook. We give you, all the support factors, website, apps, the proper app. We manage SEO, we have marketing co-ops, we have support teams now. One of my pushes now is to move the company from just a sales organization to a support organization first, and then we sell, because, healthier, happier franchisees, they're our best salespeople. So, making more of them, will sell us more franchises. So just like when I worked at GNC, I used to always preach, like, find out why the people are there. What are their needs? Don't just try and sell them something. They'll sell themselves when you engage with them and find out what their needs are. And then you can be very structured and, helpful in helping them make a purchase. And that person will definitely respond much more to that than just trying to sell them something. So, and again, a lot of the, obviously with experience comes, some of these structural thoughts that we have around the business today. So for us, it's just, how do we provide somebody that's very engaged and wants to be in this category because they see the potential, and we give them all the guardrails, the structure, the website, the playbook, and we give them the ongoing support to be successful. But they also have to get the Google reviews, make sure the studios are clean, put the window signs up, engage with everything that we do give them from a tool standpoint. A lot of times, you walk in, why haven't you done this? Why didn't you jump on this? Oh, I didn't see the email. Okay, we can only push you so far. And then, by the way, your trainers are out of uniform. Your bathrooms are dirty. The windows, and this is I'm just using examples. 99% of our studios are amazing. But, sometimes you run in and somebody's struggling and you go, well, how are your Google reviews? Oh, pretty good. And if you find out they have 15 when they should have, 15,000, so it's just, you still have to engage with your community. You still have to get out and get people into your studios, and you still have to work it, and you still have to, work sales, and you still have to understand digital marketing, and you have to understand community marketing. And you have to, again, make sure that you're putting the best experience forward possible for your membership base.
Yeah, so Tom, that I love what you say about supporting a network, because that for us is a massive thing. It's a massive reason for failure, actually, amongst so many franchisors, is they focus on sales, and they can be really good at that if you have the right team. But then if you don't support those franchisees, then you get into trouble, and that trouble can lead to the collapse in the franchise business. And we've seen it happen time and time again. And so with a brand like F45, you're right. Rocket, you use the term rocket. It is like a rocket. The growth. I've watched the growth. I just know F45. I've seen over the years, and it's been crazy. So and I've always wanted to ask. Now I have a chance. How do you manage the support of that kind of growth? How do you keep up with the number of franchisees, the franchise owners that are coming on board? And making sure that the communication between franchisor and franchisee is solid and good, right? And that you understand their needs, and they understand what they should be doing, all the things you talk about there. And you mentioned, of course, part of your role has been coming in to shore that up and improve those structures and do things. So tell me a bit about what you do for F45 to create that cohesion between a franchisor and a franchisee.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. I once read years ago that 98% of managements never even called into their call center for customer service to go through the experience and what the customers experience. And I always remembered that. And I remember when I first took over customer service, so many years ago, we actually, during the business review, called in as a customer and went through the menu. And I was floored by how poorly scripted it was. And, they had, it was just too long. It was terrible. It was just a terrible experience. So one little nuance there I took away was we always start with the member. Like, what's the membership experience look like? And then we work our way up. So, getting out into the field, experiencing what the members do, signing up for every single thing, which is what I did.
Yeah, the question was good. So, if you just, just start the answer, just that whole thing, and we'll edit that bit. So that's fine.
Great. Right. Well, that's a good question, and I have to tell you, probably the key is to just get out into the field, go through the experience, not only as a member but a potential franchisee, which I've done. Visiting markets, speaking with the franchisees, looking under the covers, if you will. Digging into their strategy, what they're doing at their market level, and then again, like I said, just really getting into the weeds when it comes to signing up as a potential franchisee. What's the experience look like? What's the communication style? What's the messaging? Are we missing anything? What's our website look like? Is the app good? Is it clean and concise? Is it easy to use? So I really jump into everything, reading all the posts on social media, engaging with social media, learning from what members are saying, and then taking that information and pushing it to the group and saying, here's what people are saying, right or wrong, let's figure it out. Maybe there's something here. But you'd be shocked at how many answers to the test you're given by just the people that are using your system as members and the franchisees themselves. And when you give them an outlet, it pushes you pretty far down the road, rather than just sitting in an office trying to figure out everything yourself. The answers are there. Many people, I'm always surprised, just don't ask the questions or actually look for the answers with the people that really have the answers, the people that use our studios, the people running our studios. And that's where I always start with every brand we invest in, with every business we look at. We start looking at what are the people on the front line saying about the product. What are the people, how are they reacting to management? Where are the gaps and why haven't they been addressed? And a lot of times even the management know there were problems, but they just can't get out of their own head and move forward, which is, a lot of I run into all the time. People, when you say it, they go, "Oh yeah, that's right." And I say, in my head, I'm thinking, why the hell didn't you do anything about it? And they just don't feel like they have the horsepower or the guidance or support even sometimes to push forward. So one of my, what I scream from the mountaintop all the time with everybody in any organization I'm involved in is, we have no bystanders. There's no egos. Everybody's here to win. Everybody has to help. I don't care about, who's the CEO. Everybody's the CEO as far as I'm concerned. We're all here. Our time is valuable. My time is just as valuable as their time. People need to make the most of it. As a matter of fact, their time is more valuable because they need to make it in life. They need to have a productive career. So, I'm here to make them more successful, quite frankly, because that'll help me be successful. Same mentality with the franchisees. We make them successful. We're successful. And the one thing about a franchise business is, unless they're successful, the corporate can't be successful, the corporate team. So that's also something where, again, we put the franchisees first. And that's so critical in the culture and the thought process, because if you don't think that way and it doesn't permeate every part of your conversations and business decisions, you're never going to win. And that's really something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear, Tom, because I think, I kind of call it brand arrogance, and I don't mean I don't mean it in that way, but it almost becomes like a brand arrogance with big brands, especially where they've been around, they've grown fast, they are a well-known brand, like a McDonald's or something, and they just, they end up not considering that they can improve still. They end up not listening to their franchisees, and they are the people at the coal face every day, dealing with the customers, doing whatever needs to be done. They are the best source of information, and the bigger the brand you are, the more value there is in that, because there's
Right.
so much more of a forum to get that feedback. And it is crazy. It seems so simple, but it's almost, I talk to new franchisors, ones that are just in that really early stage. They've had some pilots, and they've taken on, their first proper kind of franchisees, and they worried about asking for feedback because they feel as a franchisor that they should never need to ask about how to improve things, because they think, oh, these people signed up with them because to be told what to do, and that's what they'll do. And it's just not true. There's always a give and take, and I think people really appreciate being listened to. So what you say there, that's just a really, really good soundbite, I think, for any franchisor to consider and to really look at that so closely. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, ego does come into play, and there's an arrogance. It doesn't just happen in franchising. It happens with brands, and there is a fine line with keeping the magic of what got you there. You also have to move forward in business, and you also have to, tweak and maneuver and be nimble and, execute. So, you just have to manage, what got you there. Where's the magic? How do we keep the magic? But we also need to move forward and listen to people and continue to morph. And not everything works. A lot of times not a lot of times, but sometimes you make moves and it doesn't quite work, but you also learn from that, and you end up, pivoting and getting to even a better place by just tweaking where you were originally going, because during the process, other elements came in and gave you a different direction, which is also a win. So the key is to, whatever you do, make sure that you're listening to people. Not everything's golden, but at least you listen to it, you test it out, and whatever you do test and try, you have to give it 1,000%, because the surest way to fail is by treating it like a problem and something you do not want to do. Everything we test now, we really vet. Sometimes it's even frustrating for me because I'm anxious, so I want everything done fast, but I also temper myself and know that the team is holding me back with pushing them, because they're vetting it and finding out, like, will this work for the system? Because again, losing credibility with the franchisees is something I don't want to do. So when I say something and we're testing something, we roll it out, I'm going to make damn sure, as best as I can, that it's at least 98% there and ready for market. and working. There might be some little changes, but overall, you don't want to just push stuff out for the sake of pushing it out, and then the franchisees go, what the hell? This doesn't make any sense. What are you guys doing? So the team is really good at that here at F45. And we're very excited about everything that we've launched over the last year and a half, and we've launched a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tom, it's just something I'm interested in is franchising itself. I know when I first truly understood what franchising was beyond the obvious kind of things. And when were you fully aware of what franchising offered as a model for business growth and a model to support people starting their own business?
Yeah, GNC had about 2,000 franchises. So I've been in franchising now, 30 years, I guess, which
right.
sounds old. But yeah, so we had a lot of franchise interactions, and it was a big part of the GNC business growing up. So that organization, for a large period of time reported to me, as a part of our growth strategy when we needed the growth strategy back early on. I didn't start it at GNC. I was just in management at the time, but it was certainly a part of our day-to-day business management. We had a whole floor of wholesalers. They were selling product to the franchisees. We had a separate division staff underneath the corporate divisions that managed the franchise group separately, because it is different ways to communicate, a little more hands-on than a corporate store. We went through 3 leverage buyouts and foreign ownership, and took GNC public in 2011. And every time we had a leverage buyout, every group wanted to just buy out all the franchisees and make it all corporate, or vice versa, go all franchise and just franchise them all. But that was always, you could never execute that. It was just too complicated, holdouts and the whole deal. So I actually like one model, just franchising. I mean, we're actually going to be opening up some corporate locations, but instantly put them up for sale just to get more traction with our Pilates business, for example, with FS8 and Vora, and even Ion. So we're just going to start, opening up these locations and just get them going. But so we may own a few corporates, or we still do now, but for the most part, having one model is a lot easier to manage.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've seen the complexities of trying to manage both. It's it's not easy, that's for sure. So Tom, something I'm personally interested in is just your partnership with Mark Wahlberg. I'm a big fan of his, and I just wanted to dig into that a little bit, because he's obviously taken a great deal of interest his whole life in kind of fitness and nutrition and so on. How did that all come about?
Yeah, I just met him through a marketing person I hired in New York when they were looking for some help with their water. I got pulled in to kind of give them my perspective on the business and advice. And, I had a management dinner with his CEO and some operations people like on a Wednesday night. Mark asked me to come back and do the same thing on a Friday night. I did, and we basically became friends for years. And then we became business partners, starting Performance Inspired Nutrition, and then co-investing in different deals like Wahlburgers and Fletcher's Old Tequila and things like that. So he's been and obviously F45, we co-invested in that about 6 years ago. Like I said, we put together a team and put about 110 million in with our group. So then it was an obvious, nice synergistic play for us with Mark's background. It's just being a fitness fanatic and working out, in my background in GNC and operations and management, marketing, etc. So it was a good relationship.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So yeah. I got the end of it. So that's great. And Tom, I suppose what one last question I had for you was, what advice would you give any successful businesses that are looking to consider going down that franchise route to grow their brand throughout the US, or anywhere globally, in fact? And what considerations should they give to that model as a way of growing?
Yeah, well, first they should go to f45invest.com and check it out, and learn about the structure that we provide. If you want to get into a space that you may not be that familiar with, but it's a high growth category like fitness, go there, check it out. And for any of your listeners now, if they mention this podcast, we're putting together a special offer, which my chief revenue officer just came up with this morning. So yeah, listen, it's if you want to be in the space, but you may not be as familiar with how to get started, franchising is the answer. I mean, we will put you right in business. Again, it's not you have to be hands-on. It's not something that's on autopilot necessarily, but we give you the structure and the guidance and the support to be successful. And we certainly obviously live and breathe the category and the space, so that gets you really far down the road as far as the tools you need to succeed. So anybody that has a business acronym, loves to grow businesses, loves to be in a health and wellness space, loves the fact that we're changing people's lives, and there's so many more growth opportunities within our category now with the Pilates and the recovery and the high intensity interval training. So the combination really provides a lot of revenue drivers within a market, that really can be saturated pretty fast with the right folks and the right capital.
Brilliant. That's great. Thanks. Yeah, the podcast, just remind everyone, is Franchising Uncovered. So mention that when you get in touch with F45, and there may be a nice little deal there.
Yeah, there will be.
Great. All right, Tom. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I heard you might be coming over to England at some point. So maybe we'll hook up, do a bit of business trip as well.
That'd be great. I look forward to it. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cheers, Tom. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.